Hi, and this video about the live music business, you are going to look at strategy. Hello. You were introduced to the planning and timeline of how a tour is put together in a previous video, and today we're going to look at the strategy for an artist involving their career and live performance. So from the previous videos, you know that it's accepted that 50% of a successful artist's revenue is from live performance. You know that booking agents have clients and they need to get work for those clients in order to satisfy the client's needs and also to hit their commission targets. And the screen shows Coda, who apparently have 886 clients that they need to get work for. All promoters need headliners and acts to fill their festivals and their clubs. And concert promoters and club owners are looking for the headliners of tomorrow because, damn. You also need to know that playing live is expensive and it has limited distribution compared with recorded music. An artist can only play in one city at a time. Having said that, it is a good way of testing the market. One way of testing the market is to capitalise on an event that happens in the artist's career, usually early on. Now, here in the UK, the BBC, the national broadcaster, have a music industry poll, which they call Sound Of, or the long list. Music industry experts are asked to predict who the big successes of the following year are going to be. And in this case, the screen shows the Sound Of 2019, which is Octavian, and he is doing well. Don't worry if you don't live in the UK, I'm just trying to explain an event that might happen to an artist earlier on in their career. For instance, in the US, exposure on one of the major late night TV programs also has the same effect. Basically, the music industry say, okay, this artist is something that is going to go forward. So whatever that event may be, the team surrounding the artist should have a strategy about how they then take it forward. And the screen is going to show you the timeline following on inclusion here in the UK and Europe of the BBC long list. So I'll just let you read this for a second and you can see how it's going to progress through for an artist who gets included. And I'll also put a link to that screen grab in the description for you. But that's one event that may happen early on in an artist's career, and the team surrounding the artist should be able to capitalise in that fashion going forward to that timeline. In this case, the idea is we're going to take the artist and then the following year we're going to introduce them to a wider audience using festivals. We're going to get lots of festival performances for that artist. And that's just one way you could capitalise on an event. Concurrent with that, an overall strategy is going to be how can we use live to get out in front of an audience and then to constantly be in front of that audience in order to generate hard ticket sales. Because as you've seen, this is a primary measure of success and also a primary measure of revenue for any artist today. So that's my breakdown of what we're going to do. We're going to record, release and perform, and we're going to rinse and repeat that. So let's have a look at that in some detail. The accepted form of discovery for artists these days is by uploading material to SoundCloud and YouTube. An example of this would be Dodie, singer-songwriter, who began by uploading songs to YouTube and now has a vast recorded and international touring career. She is self-released, or you may go on to get signed. In any case, the next step of this strategy would be to determine, can you play live? And when I say play live, not technically, are you able to play a guitar, for instance, but does this genre work well in a live setting? Now, most genres do. some genres don't. And off the top of my head, grime and drill, for instance, are not traditionally a hard ticket sales type endeavour. But regardless of what the genre is, if it is going to suit live, we then have to look at it and, okay, we want this rinse and repeat. We want to be able to record, release, and then go out and perform. So is the live show going to be inexpensive to produce? Now, going back to Dodie, no, it's her, a guitar, and perhaps a looper pedal. In the case of my fictional band Farikisha, who are this cool 3-piece electronics type act, yes, it may be expensive. They may have to hire session musicians. So having identified that part of the performance plan, are we able to then tour it? Can we reduce costs per show to enable us then to rinse and repeat, go out and keep taking the show to the fans regardless of where they live? And all the while keeping our followers, fans in the loop about what we're doing, so we're creating that demand. A great example of a genre that does do this well is the DJ/producer. K-Man B is my fictional example, and they're able to create massive demand. It's inexpensive for them to travel. It's just one person usually. They perform their own music. Their home studio productions can then be played out, and they're playing other people's material. And if necessary, they can expand this into a live music act as demand increases. So there you go, music strategy based on a particular event in an artist's career, or the overall strategy that artist managers and artists follow these days. So I hope you've enjoyed this. As always, if you have, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.